So, glorious Tuesday morning, and it's the second day of my holiday. I've come down to the plot today, and after the success of the carrots that I grew in these plastic raised beds, I managed to get some more. And what I'm doing now is I'm just filling them up with everything that I've dug up today and from one of the old compost bins. And the plan is to grow onions in these next year. I've drilled some drainage holes in the bottom, as you can see, they're about 1 inch. And so I'm just going to fill them all up as best I can. I've got a load of brassica leaves that I've took out today, so I'm going to put all those in. And I'll probably leave that compost heap for now, until I've filled up these planters. So that's the plan, that's what I've been up to today. That's where the compost bin was. I've emptied that out. So I just need to tidy that up before I go. But yeah, it should be a handy little growing space. It has left a little bit of a mess around here. I had to empty the water out because originally the plastic containers didn't have any holes in the bottom, so they're about half full. So I'm just going to, once they're filled up, I'm going to have a tidy up around this area, then I think I'll call it a day. I pretty much can't get in the polytunnel anymore. Fight my way through. But still no flowers on this. Oh, that's it, tell a lie. There's the first one. But it's taking over everything. I'm not sure if I managed to save this melon. What I've done is I've mounded up dry soil around the bottom, hoping to dry it out. And there's my one remaining melon. I'm going to get you can buy them from Tesco's and places like that. It's for putting your vegetables in. It's like a Enviromesh bag type thing. So I'm going to put it in there to stop whatever it is that's got to the last one, get into that. And then I'm going to do a good tomato harvest. But yeah, it's too hot to stay in here today. I've got all the brassica leaves in there. Then I've put a layer of leaves that I swept up from the trees all around over winter. And then I've put 2 shovels full of the rotted manure in, because there's plenty of life in that, plenty of worms and whatnot. And then I'm just going to cover them over with some paving slabs, just so it's nice and dark, to encourage the worms to do their work. Plus it also gives me a handy little workspace. So I've got some more slabs lying around. I get the rest of them done, and then we'll call that job finished, and it's just tidying up. It's Tuesday morning. I think the summer has finally arrived in the UK. It's lovely outside today. What I've done this morning is I've tidied up this bed. I didn't want to dig it over, but I've had to. I've managed to fill that bag there and that bucket there full of mare's tail roots. So for the time being, I think I'm just going to have to keep digging this until it's a lot better than it is. So I've leveled them both off. I can't dig any further on that bed because I'm starting to get to the roots of the beans and I don't want to disturb them, so I've just done that little section there. So yeah, I've dug it over, leveled it off, and then I'm going to manure it and then cover it over with some of the black membrane. I've left the turnips and the leeks in at the far end of the bed. I'm just going to work up to them, and I've cut the comfrey back because it was taking over the path a little bit. But things are looking good. Preparations for next season are going well. I think I'm going to make this the potato bed next year. It's just the right size. And then I can put the pumpkins where the beans are, and I'm going to rotate that bean arch round, because as you can see it's casting a shadow on there, and it's sort of 12 o'clock now, so all through the morning that bed there and this part of the brassica cage isn't getting any sun. So if I rotate that next year, I can just have them running along the side of the path, and then it shouldn't cause any problems. Yeah, so I'm just going to have a short break, catch my breath. I'm going to get a couple of barrels of manure on here. That's 3 barrow loads of manure ready to be spread out, and then that'll be this bed done once it's covered. I could probably do with a little bit more, but that's that compost bay emptied. So we've had 6 loads in there, 6 barrowfuls in there, and 3 on here. So the full compost bay is roughly 9 barrow loads, which means I've got another 9 to go, which is going to be tight, but I think I can do it. Here we go. I've spread it out as best as I can. Some of it is still quite wet and lumpy, so it's not perfect, but I think once it's covered over and left for a few months, let the worms do their work, it should be okay. I'll actually get the cover out, pop it over, and then we'll call it a day. It's not exactly pretty, but it's done. I don't need to worry about this bed now till next spring. The membrane's got a few holes in it, so I may need to replace it at some point, but I'll just keep an eye. If weeds start popping through, then I'll put some better stuff on. But it worked out perfectly. I cut it in half and it was just the right size. So that's one less job. Tackle that area maybe tomorrow. It's Thursday morning and this here going to be my last visit to the plot before I go on holiday tomorrow morning. So there's the raised planters that have turned into a little work area. I've put a net, hoop and net over the top of this because the cabbages were getting to the top of the netting that I had done before. And what I've done, I've emptied out the central compost bay, turned it all over and put it into there, and I've chopped up everything on there. But one thing I'm going to do before I go home is I made this roof for the compost bay to keep the water out. Unfortunately, I think I made it about 7 or 8 inches too low, because every time I go in and stand up I'm smacking my head on the bar at the back. So I'm just going to shift it up 8 inches and hopefully I won't have any more problems in the future, because I'm sick of banging my head. And there we have it. I've raised it up so it's roughly 1 inch taller than me, so no more banging my head, hopefully. The guttering system should still work at the back to feed into the rain barrels. I put a couple of hooks on as well to hang up my fork and spade. So that's everything in both greenhouses, and the polytunnel watered. It should be good for a week. The wicking system seems to be working fine, so I'm not worried about leaving them at all. I just look forward to seeing what it all looks like when I get back. Just have a quick look over the bed, see if there's anything obvious that needs doing before I go. So as the sun sets on another glorious day on the plots, I'd like to say thank you for watching this week's vlog, and hopefully see you again in a few weeks' time. Thank you very much and goodbye.